All rise.
Peanut gallery.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. It is now 7 o'clock. This is Mayor Springer. It is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. And I call the council meeting to order. Clerk Barr, will you please do roll call?
Councilmember Skinner.
Here.
Councilmember Wynn.
Here.
Councilmember Spargo.
Here.
Councilmember Colette.
Here.
Councilmember Darcy. Here.
Moving on, is there approval? We're going to do approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
So moved. Seconded.
I had a couple questions about the agenda just before.
So is there discussion? Councilman Darcy.
I had a request from a citizen, asked a question about the agenda, how it's put out as far as the building inspector part. It was not in the packet about what that was going to be about tonight. So they were asking if that can be, I guess, make sure that that gets put into the packet so they know, citizens know what is going on with that. And then also they asked about the public comments that are written in the minutes. Right now, it looks like they're just documenting who the citizens were that asked questions, but not anything about what the public comment pertained to.
Okay.
So they were just asking if it would be possible to have a little more information there about what the actual questions were that were asked, or comments pertaining to it. So I just wanted to bring that forward as far as maybe making a little more transparency around the minutes.
Thank you. And as for the building inspector and code enforcement, the document, the minutes are sent out to everyone. Council is asked to provide, as well the chief and building inspector and public work, to provide anything that may be needed in the packet. I think at this time, there was nothing to be added to the packet. Okay. Any other comments?
No, that was it.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda? Any opposed? Moving forward, public comment. I will open the floor for public comment. Please state your name and where you live. Comments are to address the council body, not one individual or city staff. This is not a question or answer time. The council cannot engage with the public. We ask that your comments be respectful and your time be limited to 3 minutes. So,
Or
lady.
more.
I give her my 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving on to consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda this evening?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda say aye. All those opposed? Moving on, committee reports, auditing committee. Councilman Skinner.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, there's room for 4 different signatures on there. Yes, went through actually today and looked through the vouchers and everything seemed clear to me. I'm one of 3, I think, that got in there and got them checked, which was 2, which was excellent.
And Councilman Darcy, did you have anything to add to that?
I believe Councilperson Skinner, I was looking at the meters that we have. We're paying for that aren't being used. I think that's something that you had brought up and we're looking at. Is
Yes,
some sort of solution around?
yes, so I guess we can discuss it, a little bit of that. Again, I brought it up a month ago that We have 13 accounts out there that are at a minimum charge. And a couple of them even have discrepancies on how they come up with a minimum charge. Councilman Spargo and I went up and identified one at the museum that is on a pole that is not connected to anything, and yet the meter's still there, so we're still paying for it. I guess there was some old pump house or something at some time up there that it was hooked to, and that's gone, and now the meter just sits there, and we've been paying for it for how many ever years. So if there's, out of these 13, there's 1, 2, 5, 10 more that are like that, that's costing us quite a bit of money in a year's time. So it was either have the PUD go out and audit those for us and tell us why and what they're running or what they're not running, or one of us find the time to be able to go out and just check each one of them out. Now, I know Public Works probably has the best idea. If it's a pump house that the light only gets turned on once a year, then yeah, that meter's gotta be there, understood. But if it's just an empty building or facility, I mean, this was just a pole. It's not even hooked up to anything. Why in the dickens is the meter still sitting there and we're being charged for it? So,
Would that
yeah,
include,
Tom,
It goes to the restrooms at the Lower Mill Park. I looked at that myself, and there's an underground conduit that goes out of that. If you look at the pole, there's a conduit that comes down, it feeds the lower bathrooms at Mill Creek Park.
thank you.
I thought that was ran off the gazebo.
The gazebo is fed off of the one at the tennis courts,
Ah,
and it runs down the hill, it feeds those bathrooms, and it goes down and feeds the gazebo.
okay.
so now what about the other bathrooms that aren't being used, like at the Lions Club? And, yeah, there's, you know, I'm sure there's some other buildings around
I think we're gonna have some more discussion around
the
that,
bathrooms.
yes.
There.
Okay, moving on, Park Committee,
No meeting to report at this time.
Jeremy, Councilman Wynn,
Thank you. Councilman Spargo and I have been engaged in a protracted game of phone tag. We did have a chance to connect last week, and I think we're honing in on a meeting time, but we've certainly been discussing a lot of parks activity, but I'll conclude that.
Public Safety Committee.
Well, I know that we're gonna have a couple things brought up here tonight from, I believe Chief Lehman's gonna bring something up. Chief Diggs gonna bring something up. We had a Public Safety Committee meeting. It was quite a while ago. July, yeah. And we brought up, there was some issues brought up. I think they're gonna bring it up with their reports. So, do you have anything to add to that?
No, sir.
Skinner?
We were not able to meet this month.
So,
Public Work Committee,
No meeting, no report.
Councilman Darcy,
Finance, I had not had.
no, Public Work.
Oh, no, sorry, no, nothing, nothing.
Okay. Okay, city official report.
That'd be me first, I believe.
Yes,
Thank you,
Chief
Council.
Lehman.
We're having a good evening. In addition to my written report, just kind of summarize things, the thing I would draw your attention to is not something necessarily I wanted to get protracted conversation with here, but I thought it was of interest and included, and I hope you got a chance to see it, regarding the crime statistics and staffing shortages, in the state of Washington. And I thought it was very informative and that you would enjoy seeing that data. The other thing is just to make sure that we're clear on the reimbursement request that I articulated in my written report. There's no guarantee to get it, but it could be significant for us if we receive it. And I want to also say on that, thank you very much to our city clerks. They spent a lot of time doing the actual brunt of that work for me because they had to pull a lot of employee time data and outline and fill in all the blanks for the cost of things. So I'm hopeful, but it's the state of Washington, so bureaucracy, we'll see how it goes, but it could be a significant chunk of change for us. And the next one is just kind of a summary. We had a multi-agency effort for a lost mushroom picker. At the time, we didn't know it was a lost mushroom picker. I had assistance from this guy in the capacity of his other job through emergency management, the sheriff's office, Fort Vaughn Industries, Weyerhaeuser Security, Causey Fire Department, Aberdeen Fire Department. Did I miss anybody? It was really cool to see how making a request for something. It was out on the golf course in the would be the southwest corner of the golf course. Once we finally figured out where we were, realization it's actually out in the county. So initiated extra resources from them. But everybody came together and it was an awesome team effort. Somebody was off in the distance. A couple of older gentlemen playing golf could barely hear yelling for help that they were injured. And it's very, very heavy brush through there with some very rugged terrain, I guess would be a good way to put it. And he had been lost, needing help for, I think about 5 or 6 hours. And with the faint yells for help, everybody started trying to help, launching drones, putting resources in different locations. Emergency management, Nick, getting gates opened up to get resources in. And within an hour and a half, 2 hours of initiating, he was located and safe and got the help he needed. So it was a cool effort to help somebody with a good ending. We also had a couple of burglaries in our community, one to a commercial business after hours. Officer Bailey has spent, I'm going to say 30 plus hours on it. And as of this afternoon, he's got 2 people located and being held accountable with confessions obtained. And we're filing charges at the prosecutor's office. We also had a burglary at our golf course. A couple search warrants also have been written, actually recovered, got the data back today with some good investigative leads, and we hope to be continuing to chase down and make some arrests on that one as well. So it's tough because we don't want burglaries to happen, but when we don't have 24-hour patrol, it's bound to happen. So we're shifting gears and learning to investigate a little bit better versus prevent. So I hope that we'll get back to the prevention aspect, but in the meantime, we're going to do our darndest to make sure people are held accountable. And I'm very proud of the efforts that Nick has made in investigating these crimes and the continuous follow-ups and search warrant writing, et cetera, that he's had to learn how to do in his first year being a cop. So thank you for your patience with that. And we hope to keep those nipped in the butt. If you have any questions for me about any of it, I'm happy to try to answer.
Chief, I understand as of August 1st, you're back full-time.
I am, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Glad it could work out.
It's been a positive thing, especially for the ability for the 2 of us. Some of these investigations, we're able to go from slow to rolling a lot faster with 2 of us present to be able to do things and get some teamwork and using 31 years of experience to mingle in with 1 year of experience and enthusiasm to get this rolling faster. So, no, it's been good. I think we're both grateful for that. Thank you. It's a good start.
Chief Fallon.
I don't have a whole lot to report tonight, but earlier this month, we did have National Night Out, so thank you to those groups that invited us to come along. I know police and fire, we kind of tag teamed and tried to make it out to as many as we could. So that's always been an enjoyable evening for us. We were awarded, it was kind of later last month, an additional grant from the Washington State Department of Natural Resources for computers in the amount of $4,000. So what this is gonna be is when the police department moves back, getting us some printers and stuff running over here since we're kind of sharing resources right now. So we're looking forward to that, probably making those purchases early next year. And then working with Public Works, we did put in a grant a couple weeks ago to hopefully be able to increase our hydrants, or not increase our hydrants, but change out the ports on our hydrants throughout town so that we have our quick adapter storage rather than the thread that we have right now. It's kind of a long shot for the grant that we put in, but figured it was worth trying for it. Any questions as to my report?
I forgot something important.
if it's okay. If you are approached asking for donations from Ann Beery for our Reserve Police Officer Association, it is legitimate. It's not a scam. She's trying to raise money for our Reserve Police Officer Association. We do still have a very good Reserve Association. We have 4 reserve officers, and we do not fund that program. It's actually never been funded. It's something that they've always purchased everything out of pocket on their own. We got a grant a couple of years ago that helped towards ballistic body armor for them to get some purchases, but otherwise they've always done that on their own. So it's not a scam, and if somebody wants to donate, it's legitimate. She's spearheading that to raise money to do uniforms, equipment, body armor, that kind of stuff for the Reserve Police Officer Association, which is a registered nonprofit organization. So I was supposed to mention that and I screwed up. I'm sorry.
It's okay, you cut.
Chief Haley, I want to recognize that we had the art festival downtown and 2 of your firefighters were down there, whether they were the residents here or not, I'm not sure. But they came down and made a presence down there. I seen they had opportunity to converse with quite a few of the people there at times. It's good seeing their presence there.
Thank you.
We have the festival in the park coming up. I hope that we can see a presence down there too.
We will be there.
I just competed in the barbecue deal, Summerfest, as one of the contestants in that deal, or the barbecue competitors. And the fire department was there to make sure that all of us had fire extinguishers. And as well as the health department coming and checking that we're keeping people safe by cooking, good idea to see the fire department there as well, making sure that we did have our fire extinguishers. I don't know what food vendors we will be having at Festival in the Park, but that might be an idea also, is for them to check to make sure that they do have those.
Thank you.
Fire extinguishers and no table salt.
What?
Fire extinguishers and no table saw.
So Chief Valley, anything else to add this evening? Okay. So, Mr. Sedor, do you have anything?
No report.
Tom, do you have anything to add this evening?
No, I do not.
Okay, so mayor report, for those online and for our audience, we want to say thank you for your patience. As you know, we've been running pretty short staff. We started out with Casey Grove, who was our police clerk, who came over and was working 3 days a week until we were fortunate enough to get our Mrs. Barhill to come on. And when we did the interviewing for the clerk for City Hall, and that was a few months ago, we did interview for clerk positions, and it's going to be part-time. So right now, we have Casey Grove, who works at the police department on Monday as a police clerk. She is the city utility clerk on Wednesday and Friday, and then Mackenzie Adden, who you'll have to come in and say hello. She's a very pleasant young lady, lives here on Cosmopolis. She's our deputy clerk, so she fills in. So the reality is we have still part-time clerks, because we have one who is really both trained, one trained almost up to where she needs to be, and then she is training Mackenzie. And so with that said, there were some questions about deposits. And the plan is to make the deposits twice a week, but just be patient, provide grace, as staffing levels at times can be challenging, and they're working very, very hard. We're pleased to announce that our board adjustment is now complete. We had 3 new members who applied. Mary Carr, could you stand up? Okay. To say thank you, we appreciate you applying for that position, and Carl Sparring and Steve Davis. So at this time, we have a full board of adjustment, and it's exciting to announce that all of our boards, our planning commission and the other board, civil service board, they're full and active, and so that's really nice moving forward.
So
And then I want to talk a little bit about the library services that we have in town, and I know I talked this up because I don't want to lose it. Timberland Library has been providing services to the city of Cosmopolis because we're one of a few cities here that do not have a library. And what I was told, Cosmopolis used to have a library. So Timberland Library, once a month, is doing Anywhere Library at Lions Park. That'll be taking place tomorrow. If you're in town, please stop by, check out a book. Please do this. They bring a full array of services, from your card to checking out books to audio to for adults to kids. And I hope to have this in our community ongoing. And then if the weather gets bad, hope to move it in to maybe the Lions Club. We have to have that discussion, or when our municipal building is done, to move it into the community room. So we can have a library service here in Cosmopolis once a month for our citizens. This is at no cost and really, I think, something that benefits this community. So the date is on the agenda, so August 22nd, next month, it'll be September 23rd. And in October, it will be October 24th. It starts at 3:30 and ends at 5. So if you're out and about, please stop in, say hello and thank them and check that out. Story time is still happening up at Highland Park. It's every Wednesday, 2 to 3. If you know anyone who has young children, it's a great opportunity to take them and get them engaged and learn a little bit about, it's a second Wednesday of every month, and get them engaged in learning what the library is about. So Festival in the Park, I'm on that committee. I have, at this time, I've been contacting vendors. At this time, we have 18 vendors. I have 43 on the list, so we still are waiting on other ones to respond. And we're excited that that's going to be starting at 11 o'clock, and the festival will be going to 4 o'clock. However, there's something really exciting. We're going to have our first, I think it's our first, volunteer fireman pancake breakfast, a fundraiser for the fire department. So bring your family, come on out and enjoy the pancake breakfast. There will be music, lots of great food trucks, a variety of vendors, and I think we've joined with the Lions Club, the Cosmopolis Fire Department, and the city here to really build on this event. And as you know, it's not at Mill Creek, because Mill Creek right now, we're working in the president, working on that grant funding. So Mill Creek update, Public Works is working really hard on getting the tennis courts. They've got them cleaned off. They got the cinder block wall down that had some pretty disgusting graffiti on it, and it was a safety hazard. So they did get that done, and so we're hoping in the next 2 weeks that those we'll start getting those courts painted and nets up for people to start using. And then we'll be moving on, getting bids for the roofing for the gazebo and the upper bathroom. And so we'll just keep you updated on that. Go up, and they've cut all the grass down up there and all alongside that. So it's looking better. Moving on from that. We had a local citizen who provided a donation for First and Second Street landscaping, and that cleanup was completed. And we'll be moving forward in keeping the maintenance up on that. And so if you want to be a volunteer with that too, we'd appreciate that. August 3rd was National Night Out. We had 5 neighborhoods that participated this year, and we hope to build on that next year. Okay. So moving on, new business, Councilperson Darcy, do you want to report on that?
Sure, yeah. So there is, up at McNichol Park, there is a very dead tree that is located just as you walk in the entrance where the picnic table is, literally right by the picnic table. So I got 3 bids for it to be taken down, and obviously the, money will be coming from the Macro Park, maintenance fund that is available. And the only thing Public Works will have to do is basically unlock the gate and lock it back up for the tree guys, whoever we decide on. So I went and got 3 bids acquired, and in your packet, you will see those 3 bids that I got. And so we can, it includes all 3 of them. We're together. The package is taking the tree down. It will be chipping up whatever is available to be chipped up, take away any of the scrap wood and any wood that is salvageable for firewood. I contacted the Lions Club and they will be taking the salvageable firewood and it will be delivered by the tree company and dropped at their property. Yeah. And then they will, like I said, they will be taking all the scrap and then we have a pile of whatever that chipped and then we can use that within the community garden. Yeah.
So is there a motion to approve did you have a tree service that you wanted to recommend?
Well, as you can see, the prices, it could be, I got J&L Tree Service, and they came in at $1,600. And then we have Coastal Tree, came in at, and this is including tax and everything, it's the final price. Coastal Tree came in at $1,088, and Bonnell Tree came in at $1,030. So, I imagine that the least expensive one would probably make the most sense. So that would be Bonnell Tree, and he is also local here in Cosmopolis. And, so that would be, I think, would be the logical decision to make as far as stretching out the money as far as you can.
Before we make a motion on
Yeah.
a specific, vendor contractor, are there any other factors anyone's aware of we should consider besides cost?
What factors are you talking about, Jeremy? There's no power lines, so we can't get PUD to come
Just
handle it.
anything that might be a consideration, for, different service providers?
I'm always a sucker for a local company, and with Bonnell being, a longtime Causey resident, and I think I'm leaning towards motioning for Bonnell to get the job. Gotta support the local, outfits, and they're just right up on the hill, and they were able to come in reasonably lower than both other bids. So I mean, if we could keep reaching out for other bids, but I mean, Sue did her homework and have brought us 3 to the table. I think that's more than enough to make a decision tonight.
Is this to fall and remove tree?
Yeah, it's
cleanup?
the entire cleanup, yes, of everything, yeah. All you'll have is a pile of chips, and there's not much of the tree. There's not a whole lot of branches left of it. And the whole bottom, you can basically stick your hand right into the trunk. It is definitely dead. And there is a water main spigot, literally like a foot away from it, that if the tree was to go in any other direction besides towards the soccer field, it would take that out. And, it is already leaning, and so,
Would this be a contract?
No, one-time job.
no, it's just a one-time, yeah, it's just for this job.
I make a motion that we engage Bonnell Tree Technicians LLC for the removal of the, dead tree in Macringo Park.
Is there any other discussion?
I just have one question, and I guess I'll direct this towards Tom. That's out of our realm, Public Works realm we don't have electric problems around it. I know that when we had the other tree by somewhere else that we were concerned, and that's how we got the PUD involved.
Right.
And so I'm just, I'm
No,
not,
there's no power there.
okay, so,
And there is a water standpipe there, but I can shut it off. It's no big deal.
yeah, but do you or your crew feel comfortable in taking a tree down?
I'm the only one that's able to run a saw. I'm the only one you got. And I'm not gonna fall the dead tree, no.
Okay, that's understood. I didn't know. Why do we have more than one employee?
Well,
Well, one's been here 5 weeks,
Okay, I'm not
so
trying to cause problems.
I'm not either. I'm just saying that she's never been to a class to run a saw or anything else, and I'm not gonna fall a dead tree by myself.
Excellent.
So I do want to add to this, that this tree, I had citizen come to me. This is one of those trees that could just collapse on itself because it is rotted. And Saco season will be starting up there very soon. This is a danger to people in that park, walking through that park, and it will need a professional to drop this tree.
There we go. Thank you.
and it's really not coming to a cost to the city because it is coming from the Macarenco's fund.
Maintenance
So,
fund.
Maintenance fund, yeah, otherwise if one of our guys did it, yes, we would have to pay for that.
Plus it benefits local business.
Yeah.
True.
So is there a motion? Then-
It's been moved and
Okay,
seconded.
thank you. So moving
Is
on,
there a vote?
We need to,
We need a vote. We
Thank
need to vote.
we did.
all those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed. So the next, is there a motion to approve the use of the Macarenco Park Fund for maintenance fund for the removal of this tree?
Motion to use the maintenance fund to remove the tree.
Yeah.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Yeah, and I will be in contact with Tom when I contact the tree service company to set up a date and everything so that we know when the lot.
And I want to thank you, Councilperson Darcy, for getting the bids for that and taking care of it. It's appreciated. So moving on to Chief Valley, his presentation tonight.
Presentation, but,
Oh,
so what I have before you is an amendment to our current EMS agreement with the city of Aberdeen. So as you guys know, we have a 100% EMS agreement between the city of Buckhorn and the city of Aberdeen, where they provide ALS and BLS services to the city. Within that agreement, there's a clause in there that states that we are to pay the equal amount of utilities that we have within the city at Aberdeen's rate that they charge their citizens. In July, we were notified by the city of Aberdeen that they were increasing their rate to their citizens, therefore they'd be increasing their rate to the city of Cosmopolis. I brought that back to the Public Safety Committee. We were all pretty much on the same page that we did not want to pay more for this agreement with where we're at as a city, and that we were interested in trying to increase that rate back to the citizens. We went back to the table, negotiated further with Aberdeen, and what we said is instead of 100%, 80% agreement. So we will be paying the equivalency of 80% of what they're charging their residents, as opposed to that 100%, which will from the current rate actually decrease what we're paying Aberdeen about $1,800 a month. Which, if you guys approve this amendment, at the next meeting, we're going to have to work with legal and finance. We're talking a lot about how we can legally collect and utilize that $1,800 a month to hopefully relieve some of the EMS expenditures that are against the general budget today. So again, this agreement shows reducing the amount that we're paying to Aberdeen, in turn reducing the amount of response that we're getting from Aberdeen. And this is really covering, our low level non-injury lift assists, and then the other call that's explicitly called out is accident injury, where we can get somebody there, triage, and figure out if you need a response from Aberdeen or not.
This takes effect first of the year? If,
No, this will take effect 1st of August. Yep.
so back,
So we're gonna go backwards on this agreement. The whole agreement expires at the end of the year, so we're entering right into negotiations. We've already started working on dates for what the agreement's gonna look like next year, since this was an 18-month agreement. But no,
Oh,
we're going
okay.
backwards because that's when the rate increase was. They gave us some time to agree to an agreement. It did take some time. And then to get this approved with a meeting schedule.
Is this 80%, does this reflect fees that the city pays directly, or is this that the citizens are paying as part of their water?
So citizens are paying as part of their water. So the previous rate was 27, not you, Carrie, 27.96, I want to say off the top of my head, is what Aberdeen was charging us. So we have 753 utility accounts in the city of Cosmopolis. So we charge citizens on their utility bill that 27.96 per utility. We collect all of that and send that check off to Aberdeen every month, so it's kind of a pass through. So with that increase up to 32.84, is what it was, we would then have to either pay for another means from the city, which we don't necessarily have those funds, increase the rate to the citizens, or come up with another solution. So this was the other solution that we would come up with. So we'll follow at the next meeting, you'll have a decision if you approve this to keep that current amount that you're charging the residents, and able to, you're gonna take basically cents on the account to keep funds locally here so that we can keep building our EMS fund and not be dipping into the general fund that we're all fighting for, if you will, as a city.
I'm curious, is this Aberdeen being very gracious, or did we maybe make some persuasive argument?
I think that we're making some progress.
So it's 80% of the $31,
Of the 32.
32.
Yep, it's 80% of.
Not of the 27 of the 30.
No.
Yeah, okay.
So basically how the new agreement rate is, whatever they're charging their citizens, they're gonna charge times 753 accounts for us at 80% instead of that 100%.
We're actually gonna be saving our citizens essentially money.
Not with this agreement off the bat.
Okay.
What you're going to be doing is saving the city money right
Okay.
now. So citizens will see no change on their utility.
Okay.
So my question is, with you rebuilding the fire department to where it's at now, what if we let this expire? What if we don't renew it, and what would that do?
So I'm not asking for renewal tonight, right? Just to be clear, I'm asking for an amendment.
Okay.
If we let the EMS agreement expire, we are held liable for every medical emergency that happens within the city. Because we are legally required to be providing ALS service since we've already entered into a pre-existing agreement. So every medical emergency in both the city of for additional loss is what that was.
Since we were in an existing
Never
agreement.
provided EMS service ever before, never collected a penny for it, you're in a different boat. But since we have an established EMS system, we now open that.
Okay. That's all I have.
And I guess the coverage we have now at the fire department, 24-hour, has helped relieve the need for Aberdeen.
Correct.
And that's part of the reason we were able to get, you were able to negotiate to the 80%. Okay.
I motion that we approve the amendment to the 2023-2024 emergency medical services between the city of Aberdeen and the city of Cosmopolis.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Although,
We've got lots of questions that still, I guess, have to be answered on whether we can even generate a fund with the extras, or a resolution will have to be done, citizens will have to be notified. I don't mind of agreeing to this amendment at this time, but when it comes down to the redoing or re-upping the whole thing, we've got questions that gotta be answered before we get to that point.
Absolutely.
I agree with you, Mr. Skinner.
Agreed to.
Yeah, and there's been multiple discussions with our CPA and with our attorney on this, and that will come up in next meeting, I assume. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Thank you. At this time, I would like to open the floor for council comments.
I've already talked to.
Okay, hearing none, then I will move to public comment. My goodness. Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second? Okay. Being no other business, the meeting is adjourned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The shortest meeting I've ever had.